How y'all doing? Welcome back to the Heavy Zanko Workshop. Welcome back to another episode of Business Bites. You know, you don't have to be a master craftsman with all the tools and an overloaded stockpile of timber or steel or whatever it is you're working with to start and make a business. I started my business about 5 years ago. I had very limited tools, had a few basic house tools and maybe a few extras on top of that, but really not a lot. And I was able to build my business to what it is now, creating custom furniture, doing woodwork and metal fabrication. I was able to build out my workshop, purchase all my tools and the equipment that I need, all based out of profits and money made within the business itself. At no point in my 5-year business journey have I had to rely on the family to buy me products and buy me tools. Now, don't get me wrong, there's times when Christmas gifts and all that sort of stuff have come up and I'll get Bunnings vouchers and my typical two things for Christmas and birthdays is Bunnings vouchers and bourbon. Two things that keep me going. But the way I've structured my business has been to ensure that the business always reinvests and purchases what it needs to move forward. So when I started off, I made wooden or metal fire pits out of 44-gallon drums, cut them in half and sold them for $60. A few other bits and pieces in there, but that was the essence of it. I took 44-gallon drums, cut a hole in the sides of them with them laid down and built them into a seat. I was a year and a half into my business before I made my first custom piece. And that first custom piece was a garden arbor. Now as a custom piece, that's a pretty huge build, but it's pretty basic. The processes to build a garden arbor are pretty standard and pretty basic. And while it's big and daunting, it's actually not a difficult task to take on. I built very early on my first dining table. I was probably 2 years in when I built my first dining table for an interior designer friend of mine who wanted a dining table with a rustic sort of reclaimed timber charm. And that was, at the time, that was the basis of what I was doing. I was competing with Dana Made, producing whatever I could out of pallet wood and old 44-gallon drums. And you'd be surprised at some of the things I came up with. But for that table, it was primarily fence palings. Fence palings in a chevron pattern, I think I did that one. And that, if you look back through my social media feeds, you'll see that feature quite a bit because it's one of the first big builds I did and one of the first intricate detail builds, and probably one of the proudest builds that I've had. I've done a lot of great builds, but that still remains one of my favorites just because of where I was at the time. So that led to a progression over time as I built my business and started to try new things, but also started to reinvest the money that I made from what I was selling into the tools that I needed to take my business to the next step. And if you have a look at my workshop tour, I have a pretty basic workshop. It's actually not, compared to a lot of guys doing woodworking, I actually don't have a lot of tools, but I have what I need to do what I want to focus on. And that's the key. Like, if you start where you're at right now, structure your business so that you're producing products based on the tools you've got. And then as you reinvest that money back in, you'll start to reinvest the products that you're making, and you'll start to cycle that through. And as that cycles through, next thing you know, you'll have the money there to purchase a big cabinet saw, and you'll update your little job site table saw to a giant cabinet saw. You'll be able to upgrade your little Ryobi $200 bandsaw from Bunnings into a big freestanding industrial size bandsaw. Whatever it is that you're looking to do with your business, you'll be able to start progressing forward. Don't think that you need to sit there and wait. Don't think you need to keep practicing and beavering away every weekend in your workshop, trying to get better and better and better. Because as you make stuff, the more you make stuff, the more you'll get that practice. The difference in this process and in this strategy is that you're actually getting paid for the stuff that you're making and the lessons that you're learning. There will be some occasions where you'll have failures, and that is what it is. I did it only a couple of months ago now. On a tabletop, I had a glue up go wrong, and it bowed something fierce for some reason. There was nothing I could do to fix it. I went back, I sliced it all back down, cut it all apart again, and re-glued the entire thing. And those lessons are things that you learn over and over and over, and you will keep doing so. And it doesn't matter what you're doing in business and where you get to, the more you move forward, the more you're going to keep learning. And if you're not learning and you're not challenging yourself, then it's really going to stagnate your business. It's going to stagnate the way you can move forward, and the way you can take on bigger and better things. So like I said, if you want to start a business, you can. If you want to start selling your products, you can. You don't think you need to be a master craftsman. Don't think you need to have all the tools under the sun just to be able to make that start in that journey. Whatever you've got in your workshop today, you can start making. I can guarantee you, whatever you've got sitting there, you can start making stuff ready to start selling and marketing to your customers and reinvesting as you build. Till next time, I hope that was helpful. Stay safe, keep building, and if you think this is useful, why not go ahead and subscribe as well. If you've got any questions or challenges, feel free to reach out to me on my socials, on Insta or Facebook, or in the DMs here on YouTube, or in the comments. If you're really looking to make that step into a business and into moving forward, check out my website, herbygdesignco.com, and have a look at the Maker Manufacturer. It's a coaching program developed specifically for hobbyist makers, hobbyist metalworkers, woodworkers who really want to take that next step and start selling their product and making it a business where they're not having to invest family money into their expensive workshop, but they can actually start to make the money back and pay for their workshop. Check it out, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one.